to move on to our next story because a plague of tool thefts continues to sweep across the UK, with a staggering 78% of tradespeople having had their tools nicked. Yet, 94% of these tools are never even recovered. Now, just a few months ago, hundreds of white van drivers took to the streets of London. I had a load of them in the studio here with me, putting pressure on Parliament to take action against these life-changing crimes. Now, responding to growing concerns from tradespeople, the Metropolitan Police, in collaboration with Essex Police and also trading standards officers, well, they recently carried out a large-scale search at a London car boot sale. And Shadow Justice Secretary Robert Jenrick was present during that raid.
So the police have just identified this van behind me. They think it's stacked with stolen tools. They've managed to find the key. They're going to open it up. So the van is absolutely rammed with tools. Every one of these bags is a tradesperson's livelihood that's been wrecked.
I mean, they're just packed to the roof, packed to the rafters with stolen tools. Well, I'm pleased to say that I spoke to Mr. Robert Jenrick earlier on. But Jenrick, the figures are astonishing. £98 million worth of tools stolen from tradespeople. That is a theft every 12 minutes. This is a serious crime. It destroys trades, it destroys lives, and you're doing something about it. What motivated you to get involved?
Well, a number of my constituents in Newark and Nottinghamshire came to me who were hard-working tradespeople who were having their vans broken into, their tools nicked, and their lives and their livelihoods ruined. And it was personal to me. My dad was a gas fitter. He started his business out of a white van at home, and so I knew how important it was. And I worked with campaign groups like Shoaib the gas fitter, who I know has been on GBNews, On the Tools, Stolen Tools, great groups who are now representing literally hundreds of thousands of tradies right across the UK. And we wanted to raise the profile of this issue, which has been going on for a very long time. And those tradespeople have been frustrated that the police weren't taking action, and that when the tools were being sold, literally in plain sight, at car boot sales 7 days a week, nothing was happening. And so I went with Shoaib to a car boot sale in Essex. In fairness, Essex Police then raided it a few weeks later. And then last week, I went out with the Met Police to another car boot sale where they went on a massive raid, making arrests, holding people to account. We need to do more of this because we've got to have the backs of hard-working tradespeople. They don't deserve to be subjected to this. Frankly, it's broken Britain. It's wrong. We need to stop it.
The footage that we just watched then of that van piled to the rafters with tens of thousands of pounds worth of tools. That's somebody's livelihood right there. And I speak to tradespeople all the time. They don't bother putting insurance claims through. It's so hard to get their money back. This leaves them having to take loans out. They're in the red. It decimates them. I had one guest on who contemplated suicide, Robert Jenrick. He was that far down. What needs to be done? It's great to see that the police are taking notice, but are they doing enough?
A lot more needs to happen. Look, firstly, if a tradesman's van is broken into, the police should be there. They should make sure they're properly investigating it. Any crime should be investigated, but this is a serious crime. It's not a minor crime. This is absolutely decimating to people's lives and livelihoods. And like you, I'm on some of these Facebook groups. I see the stories, and there are people who have literally contemplated suicide as a result of the stress and the strain involved. The tradesmen are also calling for the law to be changed. So there are tougher sentences, more powers for the police when you're breaking into a van and stealing someone's livelihood. That should have the commensurate sentence. And then the police should be raiding these car boot sales because they're happening across the country, and there is a sense of impunity today. I want councils and trading standards officers to be out there on the ground, and the police. You cannot be able to just spread out hundreds of tools on a rug on a Sunday morning at a car boot sale, all of which are probably stolen, and able to get away with that, selling them at rock bottom prices where everyone involved knows that this is stolen property. So the police need to be taking action. I'm pleased Essex Police and the Met have begun to do that. But I want every single police force in the country now to step up.
The figures also are astonishing about the fact 94% of those tools, Mr. Jenrick, are never recovered, and each tradie is losing between £1 and £5 grand for every break-in. Is there anything that the lads can do themselves to stop themselves becoming a target, or more to the... We've seen vans just angle grinded into. They're taking the doors off the blooming vans. But is there anything people can do to make sure that their tools are more easily recovered, for example?
Yeah, I mean, they can mark them with their names, and there's new technology like using DNA markers as well, which is not particularly expensive. I've met some of the manufacturers, and it can cost as little as 60 quid. Tradies are taking all sorts of steps now, taking the tools out of their van every night and putting them in their home. So there are things you can do, but of course you shouldn't have to live like this. You know, these are hard-working people who should be able just to go about their business without the fear of this. And so what we've got to do is take action. That means the police properly investigating these serious crimes, and it means the car boot sales themselves being properly controlled.
Robert Jenrick, you're talking tough. The man in charge, the son of a tool maker. Do you think he would care at all about tool theft? Would he do anything?
Well, Conservatives have laid an amendment to the crime bill that's before Parliament, so Keir Starmer has got an opportunity to take action, and I want the Home Secretary to be asking every police force in the country to do things. And if you've got tradespeople listening to this programme who are worried, who know car boot sales in their own area where this is happening, contact me. You know, we can take action. Email me, drop me a line, and I'll try and raise it with the police. We have seen that works.
Superb stuff. Thank you very much for joining us today on GBNews Tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Using the internet without a VPN, a virtual private network, is a bit like taking to the road without car insurance. All it takes is one unlucky moment to cost you a lot of cash. This video's sponsor is Private Internet Access. They are the VPN to help keep you safe. Click the link in the description below to find out why over 30 million people have downloaded PIA to protect themselves online. A virtual private network is an app that hides your IP address and helps keep your data private. When you're browsing the internet at home, you give up a large amount of data to businesses, to shops, and indeed to social media giants too. Hackers have the ability to steal your personal data with ease, including sensitive information such as passwords, keystrokes, and even your personal photos. Private Internet Access helps protect your personal data by encrypting your internet connection to keep your data out of the hands of cyber criminals. And it's not just hackers either to be concerned about. Information can be censored too. When Canada passed their C18 bill, social media giants decided to ban news content on their platforms. But PIA can protect your ability to consume the news and content you love. Private Internet Access is available for Windows users, Mac OS, Android, Linux, iOS, and you can use one PIA subscription to protect an unlimited amount of devices. And we've got a huge GB News discount for you too. Click the link in this video's description and you'll get a massive 83% off PIA. That's under £2 a month, the price of a coffee, and you'll get an extra 4 months completely free on top. Also, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee too. Visit piavpn.com/GBnews to start protecting yourself digitally today.
Well, that was Robert Jenrick earlier on the show. And today I'm delighted to be joined in the studio by Stephen Baker, a carpenter, a victim of tool theft. And Stephen, you are actually the individual there I mentioned. You contemplated, things got so bad for you, this decimated your livelihood so much, you did contemplate taking your own life. Tell GBNews viewers about that.
Yeah, so February a couple of years ago, I had my van turned over, as we call it. You feel rock bottom, you feel the lowest of low, no insurance would pay out, even though I had tool cover. And then I got to myself to a point where I felt like there was no other option, and I did attempt to try and take my own life. And then I didn't, lucky enough, and we are here where we are now, trying to make a big difference for everyone.
And you came into GB News on that protest day. We got you in here. Something's happening. No, the politicians are taking notice. There have been police raids. So there's an upturn. Are you delighted about the fact at last it's been taken seriously?
Yeah, we're over the moon about it. I mean, from where we come in last time to being 600 vans and a tank taken into Parliament Square, that got us listened. So from there to where we are now, we've now started raiding car boot sales. We are finding stolen tools and we are reuniting them as best as we can with their owners as long as they're marked. The last raid ended up with a second raid on the same day, which ended up recovering a load more tools. We're estimated roughly about £500,000 worth of tools were recovered in one day. So we recommend that obviously you go into your tool marking and stuff like that, and come to our tool marking events that we host now across the UK. And yeah, but big things are happening now, and we are pushing forward massively into it, and we're not slowing down. We're not going to make little dents. We're making big impacts.
I remember when you boys were going round the square there at Parliament in your vans, like you say, with that tank. It certainly made me take notice. And here we are now, something positive at last is coming out of it. Now, Robert Jemrick there talked a little bit about what tradies can do to protect their stash. I believe you got here for us, Stephen, some of the kit that tradespeople can buy to take care of their gear. So if there is a raid, they can get their stuff back. Talk us through it.
So there is certain companies that are selling this product, but if you're smart enough about it, you'll come to our tool marking events, you'll pick up one for free. They retail at roughly about £60 each.
Yeah.
You mark your tools. One kit here marks 50 tools.
Yeah.
They have microdots inside it as well. Every microdot has this unique code printed on it.
Yeah.
Every bottle has a different code, obviously. Under a UV light, which most Met police officers, Hertfordshire police officers, all of that have.
Yep.
They shine up under a UV light, and then every microdot under a microscope will show up your code. The police have access to that database, and then they can reunite it. They come in a small pack, quite simple like that. And then basically you just mark your tools. It's quite simple. It works out about £1 a tool. It's a no-brainer, really.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer. You don't have to just mark your tools. You can mark also laptops, iPhones, anything you need. But at the end of the day, that is the solution, because this is helping police identify stolen tools, and it's actually leading to arrests. The last car boot sale raid ended up into 6 arrests in one day. And I know Hertfordshire, we're in talks with Hertfordshire Police at the minute as well, and they have actually made following arrests as well, which I can't talk too much, obviously, it's, things are in progress, and we're slowly expanding out. We've got Sussex Police now are on board. They're handing out a load of these kits as well at the next tool marking event they've sponsored. So,
Steve, may I say, the last time I had you in the studio on the day of that protest, you boys were desperate. You wanted to be listened to. You wanted to get the issue out there. You came on the show. You got political hookup. The old bill are finally taking it seriously. You've got a solution that people can do for the price of a few beers, certainly a lot less than you'd be losing in terms of your stash being stolen. Are you just happy that something positive is coming out of this?
We're happy that something positive is coming out, but we've still got a massive journey ahead.
Yeah.
We're not finished yet. I don't think we'll be finished for a very long while. The problem is, it wasn't that the police weren't doing nothing. They just didn't have the power, nor was there resources to do it. But now we're trying to get that in power, as we've got Parliament speaking about it very soon. So it's basically just a massive achievement for everyone. It's not just, obviously, not me. I'm one of the minions, as you call it, sort of thing. But like Sean Webb, he's the main honcho of Trades United, and he's the one that's got us where we are today. So we've got to obviously applaud him. But yeah, it is an amazing thing, but we're working harder, and we've got things up our sleeves that we're coming in stronger.
Well, you wouldn't take it lying down. You've spoken out. In a very sort of tough world, you've been open about the plight you've been through. Steve, put it there, mate. Best of British. Well done, mate. Fantastic. I'm so delighted that GB News can in some tiny way help with this amazing course. Thank you so much, Steve.
You're welcome.
Fantastic stuff. Thank you. Wow.